too.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, this is like super fancy. All right, so I didn't prep my LinkedIn profile before, so I was gonna like, look at the feed and see what's going on and queue some things up, but I figured whatever, we'll just look in real life so you can see like what I do when I look at LinkedIn. And so I don't think I even posted anything yet today. So if I don't know what I'm even up to myself, I'll go and view my own profile. Or if I want to look back at an old post to add to it, I'll go to my profile, hit see all activity, and then just look at posts. And then that way you don't see everything, or I won't see everything that I've commented on or liked, or like every single activity thing that I do. So usually, honestly, I wake up in the morning and I look at social media. I know, surprise, surprise.
So do I do too. And then I look at my meetings for the day and try to figure out if it's going to be work, what kind of day is it going to be? A good day or a bad day kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So I like to see like the news that's going on, because I think there's probably been a few times in life that I started my day and didn't know something that happened in either world events or industry events. Mm-hmm. And that kind of set me up for, maybe a stupid moment later on in the day. So social media really, like it or not, it's the place to find news. But of course, being careful about your sources. So I, like the other day, I wanted to add something to one of my posts from weeks ago. So I had to come back and look here. So my goal every day with LinkedIn is to post at least one thing, like one informational thing or something for people to engage in, or just like something newsworthy. So I did post something today, but I feel like that doesn't count because it's just in the ASSP WISE group about the ANSI standard that we're working on, or the technical report that we're working on. So I'll make sure later to post something, whatever hits me. Maybe it'll be this or something related to this video for like general consumption. So with LinkedIn, I feel that it's a place where it's the news, right? Like it's a place where people go and scroll through and try to find out what's going on in their industry so that they know what to stay on top of or be able to speak intelligently about what's going on. So I want to be their news source. And so this might be an approach that people would want for themselves, or maybe you want to be the news source for like a very niche group of people, like each of you in your particular industry, like you have a group that you could influence. So for me, it's safety and risk control, which can be really big and ambiguous, or I'll tailor it down to construction will be the group that I aim for. So most of my content is aimed at what would people share that are in that industry. And so that brings me to another thing, which I've learned recently. Like you can kind of see behind the scenes here, the analytics, I guess, of what's going on with these posts. So 29 reactions, 15 comments, just over 1,100 views. Like to me, that's not a lot. Not like I judge myself on, social media or anything like that, but I've had posts where there's a lot more engagement, and I didn't understand why suddenly on LinkedIn things were dropping off as far as how my posts were viewed in the past. So I started to experiment with a different way of posting things, which is way less of here's what I'm doing, or I did this, or I'm doing this, or register for this event. I think that's actually what really broke it down for me, is that I had been posting a lot about like register for this webinar or register for this free seminar, where it seems great, right? Like a free event, like who wouldn't want to know about that? But I feel that those types of things are getting lost in the LinkedIn algorithm. And so that's when I realized I have to post way differently. Like I can still advertise things that are going on, but that can't be all the posts. Otherwise my stuff is just going to be hidden from everybody's feeds, and I don't want that. So I started with the goal of this resharing, where in the past, I would never get notifications that people were sharing my posts. And I forget what post it was, but there was a particular post that got just a ridiculous amount of reshares. And I thought, what the heck? And then I realized that it was a post, and I'll just use this one still for example. It's a post that someone could just hit share and not even have to add any of their own thoughts to it, which isn't a bad thing. Like I'm not insulting anyone for not adding their own thoughts or opinions to something that they share. But it made me think that the posts that are going to get the most engagement and people commenting on it, or even better, sharing it with their networks, are things that have nothing to do with me. I mean, it could, but I'm not saying me, I. It's stuff that someone else could share and it would make sense to their network. So like this one, super simple, construction labor shortage, hire women. This is a great article, blah, blah, blah. So I've had 8 people reshare that. That's awesome. Most of the time I've found that when people are resharing my posts, that they're not my first level connection, which was really interesting to me. Yeah, I was like,
you go then and try to connect with them?
Absolutely, yeah. So what I've been doing is that every person that reshares my post, I make sure to go and like it, or whatever the other LinkedIn reactions are. It's like, celebrate, love,
so where do you
insightful, and curious. You see that?
So where do you see, so where do you see that who did it? So you just showed where, but how do you see who?
Yes. So this is where LinkedIn gets kind of weird, and I'm hoping that they change. Oops, and there's Tara, accidentally clicked on her profile.
She's coming to New Orleans, right?
I don't know. I have to ask her. I just saw her yesterday. I'll have to find out. I don't know.
I hope she is. I'd love to meet her.
I hope so too. She's awesome. So you see how I'm even having trouble right now finding, I can't even find where those analytics were now. What the heck? Yeah, so further to my point, LinkedIn is weird. So like on this post, I guess I keep scrolling through and you can see the views, and then you click on that and then it expands and gives you those analytics.
If you hit the one reshare, maybe you can see who.
Then it tells you.
Okay.
And then you can, from there, so then you have to
go into his profile.
Yes. And so on the LinkedIn app on mobile devices, it is way easier to do this interaction with people that have reshared your posts. So obviously I can't share that screen, but I'm going to look at it super quick. And if you have your phone near you to pull up the LinkedIn app, you can see it also.
I haven't actually put that on my phone yet. So it sounds like it's easier to use LinkedIn from your mobile phone versus laptop?
I feel it is, unless you want to share a file or multiple pictures. Okay. So I don't know if I'm just not getting an update, or if LinkedIn just hasn't updated their app, but it's way easier. So I'm looking at, let's see if maybe I can just show you on the screen. So I'll get a notification that says that someone reshared my post. So I have to scroll way down to try to find this. Where's a good example of this? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just going to look at a different post. Good tutorial, Abby. Good job. Oh my goodness. So it has to be an actual notification on your app that says so-and-so and 45 other people reshared your post. So then you would click on the reshared post, and I can scroll down and, oh, I haven't done it yet with this one. So I could scroll down, I like it, And I always comment too, and even just something like, thank you so much for sharing this, and then post. So I'm giving them, so now that'll show up in people's activity feeds that follow me. They'll see I commented on someone else's. And then I look and see this person, Ben McMillan. Hey, Ben. He is a first level connection of mine. So great. But if it says second or third, that's when I go to their profile and connect with them. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone pretty much has accepted the connection request. If I see that person is at a company that I've wanted to talk to for whatever reason, or that their title is interesting or weird, or I don't understand it, I'll include a message to them too. So I know some people, when they talk about LinkedIn, they say you should always include a message to someone when you're inviting them to connect. I sometimes don't, because people are just scrolling through it real quick on their phone and they'll say yes or no, and often they won't even read your message. So it's not a big deal, but depending on the person and the situation, I will do that. So I want to show you a post that just went crazy, so you can see an example of some really cool analytics. Oh, real quick first. This event that, speaking of Tara, that she had this, oh shoot, I want to just click on the brochure, but I guess I can't. Whenever there's an event coming up that I'm going to and it's got people's names on it and I don't know them, I make sure to look them up on LinkedIn and connect with them. And I might even say like, hey, I'm going to this event, I'm excited to meet you, or based on their bios, I might ask a specific question and make it a point to say that I'll be sure to introduce myself or whatever. So I got to meet these three women, because I already knew Tara. I got to meet these three women last night at this event, and it was so cool, like really cool panel. So props to Tara for doing that event.
So Abby, I have a question about your connection.
Yeah. Yep.
So do you connect, it sounds like you connect with people that you don't know per se, or people that you want to meet. Is that the case?
I do. So I have just over 7,000 connections on LinkedIn.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Last year, before the ASSP conference in San Antonio, I was speaking about social media and safety, and I wasn't at 5,000 followers or connections yet at that time. And I had it in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I hit 5,000 before this event. Otherwise, people are going to think I'm, don't know what I'm talking about with LinkedIn. So I remember I did hit 5,000 right before the conference. So I've had that marker in my head. So I've grown to, added 2,000 people as connections, which is insane really to think about. But I would say at least 300 people within the past month are new and organic, because they've shared my posts or engaged with my posts, and they weren't in my connections, so I would add them. So instead of just like going through like this, people you may know or people you should connect with and just hitting connect on everybody, I try to do it a little bit more meaningfully. Even though that 7,000 is a big number for some people and it might be weird, I found it to be really fun. And I've met some people that I would have never met if not for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have a good solid 50 or 60 pending invitations that I don't even know how these people want to connect with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I just accept? Do I go through each I've been going through each profile to see, is there something meaningful there that we would, continue this beyond me, beyond me accepting. And I mean, some of them are not, the ones that tend to be here in Georgia, I just automatically accept. But when, they're all the way on the other coast, it makes me pause.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
me too.
international sometimes too. I mean, I talk to people from throughout the world, and a lot of that was, I did a webinar for the ASFP Nigeria chapter, so I ended up connecting with a lot of people from Nigeria. I comment on a lot of things from the ASFP Pakistan chapter and Kuwait chapters, so a lot of people from those areas too. Usually I look and see like if someone has like safety and health or some kind of safety thing in their initial like this first headline at the top here, and have a bunch of mutual connections. I often will just connect with them and just, you know, because you never know. I don't know, I've just enjoyed meeting all kinds of people through social media and just learning what they're posting about. Like there's this guy recently, what's his name? Jason, what's Jason's last name? Right here, Jason Lucas. Just met him recently here on LinkedIn. He posts a social media safety minute video every day. So, and he just started adding captions to the videos. And a lot of times, you know, people don't listen to the video content, but they read the captions. So he's been getting a lot of engagement from that. So, and he'll tag me in his posts, which when you tag other people in your posts, like it goes to their network. So I know people do that strategically also. But Jason's going to be at the safety conference in New Orleans. So I'm excited to meet him in real life too. And I've had a lot of those interactions, especially at different ASFP conferences and even locally, where people will say, have you know, like, hey, and introduce themselves and say, you know, was that weird? Like, I follow you on LinkedIn. I just thought I'd introduce myself. And I'm like, no, like, thank you, you know, for not just walking by. And then we become, you know, colleagues in real life. So that's always fun too. I've literally had people just like walk by me and be like, Abby Ferry. And I'm like, yeah, that's my name. So that's always fun. So I look forward to that at the ASFP conference and even the local stuff too. So yeah, so I mean, I know some people have some discomfort about connecting with people that they don't know. But I like what you're saying, Stacey, about just like looking at, you know, are they local or have something to do with your industry, and using some of your own tests, I think, to make those connections is smart. And, you know, people should just do whatever is comfortable for them too.
Right. Because I only accept people that I know only because of the fact, or I, you know, like are in my area, because I get a lot of people that just look at the company and they're like, oh, I need to connect with you.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't really need that connection.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, I don't work for such household name brands as you two do. So, you know, I can see that you probably get a lot of people that are reaching out just because of that recognition. So that makes a lot of sense for sure. So let's see some other stuff that I want to make sure people do. I need to change my header picture. I'm going to switch up, I think, my PDC speaking advertisement at some point soon, but I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Was this a Canva header?
Yes, I made it on Canva, and yeah, of course, right? And Canva has templates that follow the specific sizing requirements for LinkedIn headings, Twitter profile headings, Facebook headers, all that kind of stuff, or the cover photo, whatever they call it now, so that you can easily use Canva and not have to worry about trial and error with resizing an image, which anyone that's done social media for a while, like that can be a complete pain in the butt, trying to resize the images with the right pixels or the right height. And it's like, someone just do this for me. And so that's what LinkedIn, or that's what Canva does now. I also like, oh yes. Oh, mine's not within arm's reach, just in my bag for later. Another thing is, in my name, like I think most people with their CFP, they're pretty proud of it, or other certifications. So adding your certification after your name is always a good move. With CFPs, there's a few other certifications that have the same acronym. There's Certified Speaking Professional and Certified Sales Professional, I think, is another one. So sometimes you'll see people with the same acronym, especially CFP, but they're not, you know, a safety CFP. So that's been interesting to network with some of those folks too. And then I also like doing a more fun headline about yourself. So instead of just, I don't know, like the company you work for or whatever, that people see this headline about you and it's kind of wrapping you up in a few words or in a short statement. So I like to play around with that too. And of course, I get a lot of people messaging me about beer. So I have that beer geek thing in the title. Like no one wants to say, what about this construction geek thing? They just want to talk about the beer geek thing. So, you know, it's something. Sometimes people are telling me, you know, their favorite beer in their local area or, you know, asking me about beer in my area. And
but
so
that's a great
I give my recommendation.
starter, right? To get beyond
definitely.
the simple, yes, I'm connected to you.
Definitely. Yeah. So I like to use those things that people use as like their personal touch or personal branding and actually ask about it, because people are putting the stuff out there because they're proud of it. So making sure to mention that is always good. And then your longer description of yourself, you know, people sometimes read that when they come to your profile. So that's exciting. And then the other thing I want to point out is articles. So I haven't done this in a while, but whenever I have a blog post or a topic or white paper that I feel pretty good about, I try to publish it as an article within LinkedIn and not just as a post. So articles, gosh, my last one was in January, so I should probably post something new, but it's just another way to publish more long form within LinkedIn and for people to read it. Like this one, I love that I wrote about safety and artificial intelligence, and that's from October 2017. And I still get people commenting or liking or sharing it, like even now. So there's some different type of algorithm with LinkedIn that will pull in those articles too. So if you've got something, oh, this is a popular one too, about studying for safety certification. I posted about Faye Feeney and her fellow designation from ASSP. So whenever I've had like a longer form blog post, I make sure to copy it here to LinkedIn as well. And then what I do is for anyone that runs a blog, make sure that you include links. So I like to put, and you can see how there's a longer form thing. I like to put this standard kind of paragraph at the end, or personalize it or customize it per the content to say where the post originally was. So I give myself citation credit and also invite people to take a look there. So yeah, so that's another cool thing that LinkedIn does. And actually, so I just saw this stat. I've got 57 articles on LinkedIn. And I remember when LinkedIn released this tool that it was like an invite only thing. So I didn't realize that at the time until I heard from another person that blogs about stuff in a different industry. And he said, yeah, if you got that invitation, you should use it. So LinkedIn publishing is now open to everybody, but at the time there was just, you know, probably so many thousand people were in the initial invite. So I definitely, you know, took advantage of that. What else about LinkedIn? Groups are now a lot more intuitive. So I feel that group, oh, how cool. They took our time limit off the Zoom call. So now we have unlimited minutes. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. I was just getting stressed for a second thinking like, oh my gosh, what time is it? Like how much time do we have left? So now we don't have to worry about it, except for my next appointment. I have to make sure that I'm on time for. So yeah, the LinkedIn groups are a lot more functional now because you can actually find them on the side. Before you had to like really dig to find it. I've also been using the LinkedIn search bar more often for companies that I'm looking for and also content. So you can put in a search term and say like safety and oops, I guess that went away. Sorry about that. Okay, so you can look at it, content and search in different ways. Date posted, I like to look at things more recently or maybe even the most recent, and then apply some other filters for whatever you're looking for. So LinkedIn definitely uses hashtags too. So make sure to, let's find the Safety 2019 hashtag and see who's been using that. Jamie is right up there. And yeah, people posting already about the ASSP conference. So I like to check that out too. Obviously there's the app too, but usually people, they start to really turn on how much they're posting on social media when a conference is coming up. So it's a great time to re-engage on LinkedIn and re-engage on especially Twitter too, and Instagram. People are using a lot during the conference as well. So what else? Do you have questions about specific LinkedIn stuff?
What's our hashtag going to be for WISE? Is it just #WISE or?
I don't know. I think I can hear Jamie in my head saying Women in Safety Excellence, like actually spelling it out, or just using the Safety 2019 hashtag, just in general for conference stuff, and then tagging WISE, especially if it's Twitter, tag the @WISEConnect account, and tag the ASSP safety account too. So on Twitter, they're @ASSP safety. And so tag that, because then they'll retweet it and it'll get to other people. I also, and I'm guilty, I haven't been using Twitter a lot lately at all for safety stuff, and I need to get back on there. But even just searching the Safety 2019 hashtag or looking at what ASSP is posting, because they've been really good about posting and tagging members. I've learned about a lot of people that I didn't know about and then start to follow them and interact with them. So I would definitely look at that too. And now I'm looking at Twitter when I should be talking about LinkedIn.
Well, I was going to say, I was just looking at the safety app. So Safety 2019 app. So when I log into all of these apps with my login and password, does that give me access to like send stuff to the different locations? Because to be honest, I've never done that.
Yeah, I didn't mess around with that much beyond just clicking on the different social media icons. And where was that? Is it in the profile?
Yeah, so it's on that homepage. There is a social media. Here, I'll show you. There's a little social media button.
Oh, I see it. Yep. Okay. So what did that do? When I looked at it before, so it just goes to like ASSP's LinkedIn site.
Correct.
When you click, I just clicked on Facebook. I think maybe some features aren't quite live yet, because I know that they have contests during the conference where you would post to, let's say, Twitter, but through the app.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of functionality they're looking for with that this year and how it's supposed to work. I'm just not sure. But I have been going through and saving sessions, starring different speakers, and liking things and commenting on things. And then Lindsay Bell, who is one of our WISE members and the BISE Safety Professional of the Year, she used this function called Interested, and it pushed a notification to me that said, Lindsay Bell is interested in meeting with you, or something like that. And so you can foster like a meetup through the app. And then I noticed when I clicked on it, it has share your location. So you could be like, I'm in the expo hall or whatever. And it might just be, I'll have to check this out. Maybe I'll try it with one of you too, because it's safe to share my location. And if it actually works like here, when you're not at the conference, or if it's meant to be used in like the expo hall, or there's like a geo-fenced area of the conference center or convention center that would work within. I'm not sure what they're going for with that. I know there's a lot of times I'm thinking of Margaret when we were walking through the expo hall, just to initially meet up. It would have been really nice to send Margaret my location and have her just navigate over. But I did see that for the sessions too, that it has some kind of like map, or it looked like a navigation feature where you could pull up the session you want to go to and then hit this button or tap whatever, and it'll tell you how to get to that session from where you're at. So that's kind of cool. We'll have to watch out for distracted walking.
You know what's really funny though is I still have the Safety 2018 app on my phone, and so when I went in the App Store, all it asked me to do was update, and the actual icon says Safety 2018 until I open it up, and then it says Safety 2019. It's really weird.
Interesting, because it seemed like it was almost two different platforms. Like the app is so different
this
this
one's
year.
So much better.
Yeah, and it's a new sponsor too. So I was wondering if it was a total different platform. And actually, I had kept the 2018 app on my phone, but I deleted it a while back. But I wonder, can you still get in there and like look at the documents and stuff?
No,
okay,
and that's why I had kept it, because I still had files in there which now are gone.
Well, curious you mentioned that. I've been trying to find this link that I had posted on, I'm pretty sure I posted it on LinkedIn and also in our Facebook group. That was the mobile version, or it was a website version of the app. And so I had been using that on my desktop, on my laptop, to download files from presentations I wasn't able to go to, and then I just couldn't find it anymore. So I'm wondering.
They only have it up for a certain amount of time after the conference, and then it goes away.
Okay. So and especially because now that the new app is live, that's probably why they don't want people looking at the old one. I guess it would be kind of confusing. So yeah, I mean, I like the app for the agenda, and learning about the expo hall and where people are at. But as far as interacting and using social media, I like to directly just use social media for that. But I think the app definitely is a good supplement to, like, when you're there on site, it's definitely a huge benefit and something good to use. What else about LinkedIn? So my biggest things lately have been that that goal of having people reshare my posts. That's my goal for that visibility of messages, and then just playing around with different types of posts. So the post yesterday about the women in construction, that was a super short post. Other times I like to post way longer stuff. And LinkedIn does have a character limit for how much you can include in one particular post. And I have run up against that limit before, especially with the WISE administrators message. I like to just copy paste my full message, and then LinkedIn doesn't like that. It's too much. So I have to pare it down. But people do scroll and read long form stuff. So I know I showed you that article feature on LinkedIn. But if it fits within the character limit, which I think is like 1,400 something or 1,200 something on LinkedIn, if it fits that way for a regular post, just post as a regular post. But if it's something that's longer, more wordy, post it as an article. So yeah, I don't have advice on do super short posts work, do long posts work, because I think they both work. They both have a place, and that people do like to reshare the content. Same thing with Facebook. People will read long posts. So it's not like short attention span where we have to keep things short for people. Another thing, the advice I do have is to have photos. So there's a good example here right on the homepage. If you don't follow Mark Pugh, he's awesome talking about drugs. So he speaks all the time on like opioids and marijuana. And I asked him a question about mushrooms because now they're legal in Denver. So he will answer all those questions, and he's a great speaker and a great resource. But what I would give, like if I was giving him advice right now, I'd say, don't just share a link. If you're going to share a link, make sure you have a separate photo or image to post with that link, because LinkedIn, their algorithm is still weird, where if you post something that's just a link, it brings the automatic preview image. but that isn't going to be as interesting to people's news feeds. I'll throw them a like anyway. It's not going to be as interesting in people's news feeds as something with an image. So, or video even too. Joey right here, one of my safety friends from San Diego, great photo, right? Attention getting. And so that's going to show up in more people's feeds than if he posted a link about something he was doing, and it just it populated. It could even populate the same photo. Like if he has a blog post attached to this photo, it wouldn't get as many views and engagement compared to actually posting a photo. And if you had a link to share to, post the link, and then people are more apt to see it also. This is showing someone sharing someone else's post. So that's how my posts show up when they're shared. And I think these show up well in the LinkedIn algorithm as well. And then it gives you ideas for new people to follow, which I think I actually worked with this person. So, okay, I'll connect. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, those are my main tips. I just think people, what's going on here? I just think people shouldn't, oh, this guy, you guys need to follow this guy, Justin. He's always doing point of view kind of video like this, and he does scaffold stairs, which is not interesting, but his posts are always really fun. And he's always out on the job site, which is fun too. So this looks scary, but the stairs are cool. So that's the whole point. So yeah, I just like scrolling through and finding just new and interesting content from people, and, you know, sharing. And then because I know how the algorithms work, like I'll engage on a post like this and like actually type out and say something, because I know it helps them with their engagement to keep their posts going. So that's fun too. Yeah, those are my biggest tips. Also too, like I know people, that's funny. I know people, they're like, wow, you're on LinkedIn all the time. And very rarely do I scroll and like really digest a bunch of content. Like I'll look at like the top 10, 20 posts maybe, and then look at notifications and engage with people. But for the most part, I try to be a creator on LinkedIn and give information for other people to digest. I don't digest a lot of information and news from social media in general. I try to be that person that's providing it. But realizing that there's people, overall, most people that use LinkedIn, they're using it as their news resource. So I try to be a good news resource for those people. Yeah. What else? Oh my gosh, and Melissa's been muted. Muted. I can see if Melissa has a question.
No, I think this has just been.
Yeah, I've been in and out. I've been listening, gathering.
Awesome.
No, I think I just need to
go ahead, Karen.
Jump in. I just need to jump in and start using it more.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Like for me, I think I share Stacy's concern with, you know, sometimes you don't know these people. And so there was one gentleman on here, it was a couple of years ago when I was first diving into LinkedIn, that, you know, he definitely wanted more than just a connection on LinkedIn. So that was a little creepy for me. So,
yeah.
I am cautious about, you know, just the fact of who I am connecting with, just because I like to see, you know, how many connections do we have in common. I'm a little leery if we don't have 15 or more connections in common. I'm like, okay, probably not. And, you know, I don't want to shut people out just because I am, you know, in so many platforms of where I'm saying, oh, come join ASSP and get involved. So, in the same token, it takes one or two people that kind of run it on my end for me, because I'm
totally. Yeah, and there's many people that I have no room for bad behavior. And if they send a message that doesn't make any sense or is rude, crude, whatever, not for LinkedIn or not for networking, I just block and move on, or, disconnect or whatever. There's even been some people in the industry that they post like the blood and guts and gore kind of stuff. And I'm just not about that. I feel that we can get the content across and the messages across better without having to use that. So I've even unfollowed people just because of that too. So I have like 2 minutes and then I have to leave. But if you come up with any other questions, we can do this again, or I can answer them. So, but this was recorded. So
Awesome.
Once I get back to my desk this afternoon, I can send you the link to the recording and you can let me know what you think. And then I can chop it up any which way and for posting, or just send it to Jamie because she missed out, and to Liz because they missed out.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, cool. This was fun.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
thank you for
good.
sharing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day.
You ladies have a
You
great
too.
day.
Bye.
Bye.